Yes, guys, welcome in. Hope everyone's doing well. Thank you for joining us this evening for the Liverpool debate. We got Cal as well and Ends coming in shortly as well. So there's going to be a great panel here. Also, we got Sadiq making, I think he's called in the show before, but I think this is actually his first proper debut.
Definitely. Thanks for having me.
How you doing, man?
I'm good. You?
All good, man. All good. And back again, my right-hand man, K-Mac. How you doing, man?
I'm good. Hope everyone's
he got suited up in the break as well. There you go. He got suited up. And big up
I ran off to set the dog off, so I had to calm the dog down. That's why it took a bit of time to get back.
I know what it's like with the pets, man. Don't worry. Guys, we are going to be talking everything about Liverpool today. We're going to be talking about Arne Slot later on. We're going to be talking about Mo Salah in a minute, actually. We're going to talk about the Salah situation. We've got some talk about people like Darwin Nunez, Luis Diaz and stuff like that as well. Klopp's legacy at the football club. And we'll be doing I'm going to be doing our Player of the Year awards tonight as well. So we've got a packed show. So make sure you got a drink and a snack, chilling out, watching the show, hitting that like, hitting that subscribe, hitting that share as well. But before we start this, I'm going to play a 2-minute video about what Simon Jordan thinks about Mo Salah, and then we're going to talk about it after that. So I'm going to play this 2-minute video now of Mr. Simon Jordan talking about Mo Salah.
I know this is controversial, and people are going to tell me what a clown I am, and I should ride around in a clown car, but I'm not a fan of Mo Salah's. I think that he plays in a very good Liverpool side that create lots of chances, and I know that Liverpool fans are going to say that I'm a tit and whatever else they want to say. I'm just not a huge admirer of his. And I do believe that there's a distinct possibility he will leave. I know that there's this
why aren't you?
Because I don't think he's as good as people make him out to be. I think he dives. I think he can be a fair weather player. I know this will sound ridiculous to people. I know that I'm going to make myself incredibly unpopular by saying it. Obviously, he's scored lots of goals. I think when the going gets tough, sometimes some people stand up and fight and some people don't. And I just get this feeling that Salah can be one of those. And, listen, it's an opinion. I'm sure I'm going to make myself unpopular. I'm sure it'll be cropped up and everyone can tell me what a Burke I am. But unless Liverpool are going to get him to sign a new contract, which has to be a prerequisite for allowing him to stay, or aren't wanting him to stay, they're potentially handing over a lot of money. And Liverpool don't run their club that way. If you look at the way Liverpool have run their club in spend patterns, if you look at the last half a decade, Liverpool have spent 500 million euros. Manchester City and Arsenal have spent nearly 850 million. And Liverpool tend to do it on the basis of how much money they can get in rather than how much money they can purchase. So I don't see them being in a situation where Salah walks out the door in a year's time. And I don't see Salah signing a longer-term contract with Liverpool because I think there's a huge opportunity for him in Saudi to be the first Muslim of superstar status to play in that league that ultimately relates to them. I know that there's a relationship between the Saudis and the Egyptians, which it doesn't make Egyptians the highest on the food chain in terms of the relationship ethically in those countries. But I still think that Salah, despite the protestation, if you want to sell him, you're hardly going to say he's up for sale on his last year of his contract, are you?
That was the video from Mr. Simon Jordan there. Look, there's things I totally disagree with him with what we'll chat about. Arguably, his apparent diving, guys. Today, is he a serial diver, like the way Simon Jordan is? Because, in my opinion, I watched Harry Kane a lot for Spurs in this country, and that man, he dived every time he got touched in the box.
He's made an art of it.
As an art form of it. It's most of the time, I'm going to say, so yeah, Salah goes to ground a couple of times, like every player does. But most of the time, I usually see Mo on his feet. Why do you reckon Simon Jordan's going with that kind of?
I think. First of all, I watched Simon Jordan. He's a very controversial type of character, but that's what sells, right? And I know he thinks the world of Jurgen Klopp. So I don't think. And he says it himself. He thinks Klopp is the best manager in the league. Do you know what I mean? He says, like, if you give Jurgen Klopp what Pep has had, he'll be, doing the league's titles every season. So I know he's not a Liverpool hater. I think, well, we're all here as Liverpool fans. I've known Salah to drop down easily, right? But I wouldn't turn around and say he's a serial diver. But yeah, he's been known to, do you know what I mean, drop down. But a serial diver? No, I don't agree with that. Has he gone to ground too easily? Sometimes, yes, but that's what sometimes wins the foul. If you don't go to ground, look what happened with Tottenham. Was it yesterday when the guy got tackled in the box. He didn't go to ground, but then fell as the moment and took him down, and they didn't get a penalty. But if he dropped when the contact was made, that would have been a penalty, which could have, made it 3-3. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, it's a difficult one, but I don't agree.
Okay, Matt, your thoughts on
Simon kind of said it in his own statement, didn't he? Tit.
Yeah,
That's what Simon Jordan is.
it pretty much is, ain't it?
He's
It
a
pretty
tit.
much is.
That whole narrative about Salah diving, who actually came up with that? Was it Carragher and Neville, or someone like that? It came from Sky Sports, I'm sure of it. I don't think Salah goes down enough. I think two of our players are too honest in attack, and we probably get more penalties if we did just fall over when they got contact. How many times have we seen Salah wrestle to the floor now, like arms round his head, like bear hugging him, and he's still not gone down? And then we complain that the penalty wasn't given. Well, maybe we do need to dive a bit more. But the whole Saudi thing, look, at the end of the day, Salah goes if he wants to go. That's it. He's Edwards' baby. Edwards was the one that discovered him and made him a superstar at our club. For him to say that he's not that good and we create so many chances, he's always almost top assist creator as well in the Premier League every season. So was he trying to say that Salah doesn't create any chances? I don't know. Simon Jordan's a tit.
It's an incredible. Look, I'm not going to sit here and pretend Salah don't go to ground at times. I think all players do. But the way Simon Jordan just said it, Cal, I don't know if you heard it. He basically said that, he doesn't like him because he's a serial diver. He goes to ground. Of course he does. Who don't? But
I want to be very careful about what I say here. Simon Jordan is very biased in his approach to non-British players. And I think sometimes a lot of the English media is like that. Harry Kane, a player I admire a lot, he goes to ground extremely easily. And there was a period where Harry Kane was knowingly backing into people who were jumping up for headers and then falling over, and they were crashing down on top of him. And no one in the media said anything about it. Salah should have had more penalties across his Liverpool career. Not just Salah, Nunez, Diaz, Jota. I remember the Jota one against Newcastle earlier on in the season where he's gone round the goalkeeper. You can visibly see the goalkeeper's elbow has clipped his ankle and he's gone down, and they made such a hoo-ha about it. It was crazy. If Simon Jordan has a problem with Salah, then I hope Simon Jordan has a problem with Harry Kane, Bukayo Saka, Jack Grealish. The list goes on, but he'll never call those people out. He'll never call those people out because it's not convenient for him to do that, because he's friends with a lot of these people. He's friends with people who are friends of them. It's easy for him to call out Salah. One, because the people he works for are known for making clickbait headlines. And two, he likes to be controversial. Simon Jordan, without controversy, who is he?
Yeah.
Let's be real. He wouldn't be able to do one of our channels. That's him. So yeah, I don't take anything he says seriously, to be honest.
I don't mind.
He's like the Piers Morgan of sports broadcasting.
Jesus Christ!
Yeah, and not a good version. Not a good version either.
Not a good version.
That's something, man. Look, all players go down. I don't mind players going down if they feel a bit of contact. I really don't, because it's the world we live in for football these days. Everyone does it. It's just it's proclaiming. You've got G in the house as well.
It's the referee's fault.
It's him proclaiming he doesn't like him because he's a diver. I just don't think that's the wording he used. I don't think is right, because he's labeling something that, yeah, all players go down, but he's making it sound like Salah's like a serial cheat, basically, and I don't think that's right. What are you reckon, G?
I'll be honest. Salah's my favourite player in the team. You won't find many people backing him even during this type of slump. And I see a lot of people speaking about Salah and they're outraged and stuff. And I hear what Kyle's saying. I hear what everyone's kind of saying, but Salah dives. Like, I've watched Salah for the last 7, 8. He dives. Like, he actually fully dives. He goes down very, very softly at times. Where I do agree with Kyle is that there are times when, like we saw with the Bernardo Silva situation, I think it was last season, you know, when their situation's 100%. But I can't sit here and say, you know, he doesn't dive. And I think even a comment like this, don't pivot. Stay focused. Stay on point. Don't worry about what other players are doing. Don't worry about Harry Kane. Don't worry about this guy. Don't worry about that guy. We're doing too much of that. We pivot too much because we're not focusing on the actual point, which is, does Salah dive? Yes. That's it. He dives. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not. I don't feel like it's a case of serial. I feel like, yeah, that might be where I feel he might be pushing it a tad, but I wouldn't say it's outrageous. But to your point, Jamie, about him not liking him for that point, yes, that's where I'm like, well, that don't make sense because again, when you do then look at other players, do you not like Harry Kane because he dives? Do you not like such and such? Because then if he says, yeah, I don't like him because he does that, fair enough. Then he's keeping a fair kind of policy with everybody. But to say that just specifically about Salah, then that doesn't work. But to sit here and act like this guy that I've watched Salah for time, man, up close, TV, internet, this guy dives. He's very good at doing it. Hence the reason why he will have a lot of free kicks for the team. Why he will have a lot of penalties. He's clever. He's very, very clever. But that's not. I just see that as just part of the game. We can do that. Everyone does it, but everyone does do it. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not mad at the fact that he does do it. But when I heard that everyone's like kind of getting mad, like, oh, he doesn't dive. Nah. Salah dives 100%, 100%.
Would you not say he exaggerates as opposed to dives? For me, diving is there's no contact and then you go to ground, whereas making the most of a challenge or exaggerating is there is contact, however minimal, and then you maybe make the most of it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, at times, I feel like he still dives, but I do agree he does more of that where you'll touch him and he's gone down like it. Like, I think Sam Jordan, funny enough, has even said it. There's been times when I'm like, mate, you're going down like you've just been shot, kind of thing. Now, maybe it's because he feels he has to do so because you need to exaggerate the point in terms of ref. Look, I've been tackled here or I've been fouled in this position, blah, blah, blah. Like, do something about it. I get it, whatever the case may be. But to sit here and say that he doesn't go over the top or he doesn't dive at times, I'm like, nah, not Salah's probably the worst in the team for doing so. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, so that's just what it is. But again, I don't hear anybody complaining. I don't hear anybody moaning when he's scoring those penalties and he's getting the team up the pitch. I don't hear nobody moaning. Just because we're fans of the team doesn't mean we can't really call it out. Do you get what I'm trying to say? And I think at times it's just, I get it. We're fans. We're going to be biased and blah, blah, blah. But you know what I mean? Like, I don't like to pivot. I don't care what Saka's doing. I don't care what Harry Kane's doing. That's irrelevant to the point, which is, does this specific player we're talking about, do they do that? Yes, they do. So it is what it is.
Yeah, that's...
He's not a serial diver for me. Sorry.
Fair enough.
I personally think watching him this whole season, what I can recall, I think he's only gone down easily twice this season, and that's all I can recall. I think this whole diving thing, for me, diving is when you can have no contact whatsoever. You know, and you're cheating. If you get a little bit of contact and go down, because of VAR now, let them make a decision. In my opinion, let them make a decision. You know, so look, I'm not. It's just the wording that irritated me more. You know, it's like you don't like him because of that reason. Like, it's just weird wording. And the other thing he said, guys, I'll start with you, K-Mac, is that he said Salah pretty much goes missing when things get tough. Do you think that's true?
With the diver thing as well, it felt like he had nowhere to go really. He just had to pluck something out that he knows. Yeah. And that was obviously something that got brought up years ago. I don't think Salah goes missing in games. I just think that if the goals aren't there in the team, then everything's shone on Salah now. Like, if we don't score goals, then everyone looks at Salah, because previously you had Mane, you had Bobby, you know, they'd score goals. Like, they'd always score goals. So it wasn't always on Salah. Just now it's all on Salah. Like, it's literally just all on him now. So if the goals aren't coming from the other two or the other three or the other four, depending who's playing, then it's all eyes on Salah, and it's like he has to produce. And he can go missing because he gets marked out of the game by 3 players, like pretty much most games. Like, he does. Like, you just have to watch it. Like, he's always got men on him. And I don't know. I mean, I would say this year, the last 6 months, I would say we have seen an element of him maybe not doing as much. But you know, you've got other guys there that should be doing stuff as well. Like, it shouldn't all just be on one guy all the time. I feel like now we've sold the other 2. They've gone. Well, one of them left on a free, but now the other 2 have gone. I just think he's got to adapt differently, and we may see that next year. We may not. Who knows? But he can go missing. I don't disagree with that.
Yeah, Sadiq, what do you reckon, man? Does he go missing when it's most important, or
I can't turn around and say he goes missing when it's most important, because every game's important, especially in this running that we've had. But there are times when, you know, I forget he's on the pitch. I mean, I forget he's on the pitch, and sort of touching on what K-Mac just said. Well, there is going to be an expectancy of Salah because 1, he's our highest earner. 2, you know, he's known around the, you know, worldwide, world famous player, and he's known for scoring goals. So he has that expectancy. Do you know what I mean? He works hard. He trains his body hard to be able to do just that. And yeah, there are games that I can recall, and I'm sure Cal can probably recall because his memories was the opposite of a goldfish. Do you know what I mean? But like, but yeah, there are games that I can remember. I was thinking, Salah, what's Salah done? Where's Salah been? Do you know what I mean? I've seen Diaz, you know what I mean, do the utmost to you know, I'm putting his shift. And I look at someone, the Salah, you know, the senior player in the squad. What have you done? Do you know what I mean? He does track back rarely. Do you know what I mean? We were just having this discussion earlier about Mane and the importance of Mane tracking back and helping out the team, even if it's just him helping out the team. Seen doing that. Salah's not. So I would agree that I feel that Salah does go missing, but I wouldn't just turn around and say in big games. I'll just say he does have a tendency to go missing.
Okay, with all that said, yeah, everyone is Mo Salah slightly overrated then?
In my opinion.
I mean, like, I see people in the chat, you know, are saying he does go missing at times. You know, he's not as good as we make him out to be. A lot of people want him. Like, I'm quite shocked. A lot of the fan base want him sold this summer. Yeah. Are we? Look, his stats are mad. Yeah, he's got 210 goals and 88 assists in 346 games. He's got 298 GA in 346 games. It's as a right winger. I don't think he's overrated. But what does everyone want in a footballer? Do people want? Is it eye test constantly? Yeah. So people want someone like Diaz who can run and take people on but have no end product, or do someone want Salah who's all about end product? And isn't football about end product at the end of the day, because you're meant to win a game of football?
I think the problem we're having with Salah at the moment, Jay, is the fact that Salah used to tick the boxes on both sides. He used to be good for the eye test and he used to be good for the stats. At the moment, you'd arguably say he's just good for the stats. Now, it's a double-edged sword, because if I'm going to bring up another player that is getting a lot of flack, is Darwin Nunez. Anyone who knows me, knows I'm not his biggest fan. But when you look at the GA is good. When you look at Salah's GA, the GA is good. But when they're the 2 main goal getters in the team, barring Jota, you'd also expect that as well. It's almost like saying Virgil van Dijk has got better tackle numbers than, I don't know, Diaz. You're expected that he's a centre-back. I think the issue with Salah is, I think Salah's been run into the ground over the years. And a lot of that's Klopp's fault, but a lot of that is some of that is Salah's fault as well. Because I think as players, sometimes you have to kind of check your ego at the door and say, I can't play every single game. I need to know when not to. I need to know when to dress back. And I know people look at Ronaldo and Messi, but when you look at football in its entirety, Ronaldo and Messi are the biggest outliers you can probably ever see in the game, because the longevity of their career, the fact that they avoided long-term injuries over the most of their career, not every player is going to have that sort of success. So I think we're seeing a byproduct of a player who is playing in a system that probably doesn't suit him very well, but also has been playing for the most intense system, for the most intense team under the most intense manager for 7 and a bit years. And I think it's taking its toll. That being said, I think he's underrated as a player, if I'm going to be honest, because I think people are always looking almost, this is the way I look at it. Whenever you see stats on TNT Sport or Sky Sports, it's always only Salah has more ... than the person that they're talking about. That for me shows he's the barometer. If every person is compared to Salah's numbers, remember Salah's a right winger and he's in conversations with Haaland, who's the top goal scorer. He's a right winger, but he's also in conversations with your likes of Saka, who's gonna have who's got the most assists. He ticks both boxes, and he's playing with forwards who, again, no disrespect to them, aren't even that clinical. So if he's getting the assist numbers he's getting with non-clinical forwards, imagine if he had clinical forwards around him. So I think that's one thing. But I also think it's going to be very interesting to see how we navigate Salah's career from now until the day he either decides to go away from the club or decides to hang up his boots for good, because I think we're at a tipping point now, because I don't think we can expect him to throw out 50 odd games a season at that intensity playing right wing anymore.
Yeah, I mean, fair point, man. Jay, like a lot of people, there's some people talking, like, I personally feel like Salah is underappreciated by some, not our fans, but, you know, but we see, and Cal's right, when people like experts and the media and all that, they're talking football and they're talking about strikers, number 9, some of the greats in our game at the moment. Salah is compared to him who's a right winger. So do you feel like he is a little bit underappreciated? Because if any other player had his numbers for goals and assists, we'd be pretty much lauding them, wouldn't we?
Yeah, no, I echo what Cal said. Like he's definitely. I don't think it's underappreciated because he's appreciated by Liverpool fans enough. Where I think it's enough, it kind of thing across the world. But in terms of the wider football scale, yeah, 100%. Of course, he's underrated. Like you just said, all of that there, right winger. I don't know strikers who are getting the goals that he gets. I don't know wingers who get the assists he gets. We laud, and I think Saka's a very good player, but they tried to compare, Saka with Salah. I'm like, do you understand? Like, there's a difference between world class and someone who's just in a rich vein of form. Like, Salah wasn't world class when he came here. It took him years to even get to, I'd say, 2-3 years before you could even really put him on that. He's a world class player. Forget but winger, just player. And as you said, we're comparing him to the likes of Thierry Henry. All of these top players who played in the Premier League. So, yeah, 100%. I think it's just more. I think it's the aesthetics more than anything when it comes to Salah. I think Cal said it there about he had both, and I think now where he's just getting the GA, like I don't know what it is, but people just don't obviously really like, and that's fine. That and it's because I'm a person, I like both. I need you to have both the GA, not even the aesthetics, just more GA plus performance. The aesthetics part, it is what it is kind of thing. And I think in the last 2 seasons, he hasn't had the performance levels, but he's kept up the GA, which tells you this is a world-class player who not in his worst, one of the worst seasons he's had, if not the worst season he had at Liverpool, he was putting up 40 plus GA. And that was a crap season for Liverpool. Do you know what I mean? Like he was up there. I saw the list. It was like Mbappe, Haaland. Like he's up there with those guys. Like, and that's a guy who's having a dead season. If you just look to the performance, obviously just performance based. This season, the same thing. Dead performances this year. Overall, probably be at like a 5 or a 6 if you looked at his just performance. But look at his GA. This guy's up there with all of these guys. Do you know what I mean? So I think it just depends on which side that you kind of sit on. But I think once he leaves the Premier League, and I think the problem we as Liverpool fans are going to have is that you don't want him to go out sad. Almost a bit like how Klopp's kind of going out now. It's getting kind of sad now. We kind of want the end to kind of come as quickly as possible because it's, you know, this whole farewell thing is not really going great. You almost don't want that for Salah because of how great he's been. You kind of almost want him to go out still on a bit of a high, and then we can look back fondly. Right now, he's been stinky for the whole season, basically. Well, give or take, let's say since January, since he come back from the injury. And to be honest, I even say even before then, I didn't even think he was that great. So let's say this season, he's not really performed at the levels. But guess what? Still the best attacker that we have in the team. Cal said no disrespect to the other forwards, but they are kind of crap. Let's be honest. They are kind of crap. when we're talking, that's why I get worried. And this is why I even said, I need to come on, because not even at you guys of what you're saying. It's more the fans, because I feel like this revisionism in football is a funny thing. Like if I was able to keep receipts of what people say, Jesus Christ, I'd be a rich man. Because I would cash these in, because a lot of
I'm
people...
guilty though. I'm guilty of that. I can't lie.
No, don't worry. I'll be making a lot of money if you don't. You worry. But no, like all jokes aside, you got to realize the amount of people who have spent the last 2-3 weeks saying that this guy should be sold. He's at the end. This, that. All of a sudden, as soon as someone else decides to say something, as soon as Klopp has this argument, as soon as we hear that he might be potentially signing a new deal, all of a sudden, everyone's saying, yeah, you know what? This seems brilliant. He definitely needs to stay. And I'm just like, you got to understand, like, we can't, as a fan base, and one thing I would love for us as a fan base is we need to stop being so fickle. We can't keep going from game to game. And even Kyle, you're saying that you're guilty. You're not a man who goes game to game. I've listened and I've watched and I've sat with you, listened to the things you said. You don't go game to game. I don't hear you one week saying he's brilliant, keep him. Next week, no, you don't do that. You base it upon whatever you've seen over a period of findings. That's fine. But we don't seem to do that as a fan base. We seem to go game to game. One game, this guy's brilliant. Next game, nope, let's sell him. And the Salah thing, that's why I'm laughing now when people are like, I'm so happy he's staying. No, you wasn't. No, I saw. No, you wasn't. You wanted him to go and you were hoping we were going to get a bid in for him. It's only now that you're being told that he might potentially stay. It's almost like you're just like, well, if he's going to stay, he's going to stay. And that's the problem that we're getting into with someone like a Salah. This is the most elite, one of the most elite players we've ever had. On the levels of like Steven Gerrard, like that, that's how elite this guy was. There's no way that we can ever talk about Salah in any bad light. Elite player. Come on, man. Like Owen weren't getting these goals. Fowler weren't getting these goals. And we call Fowler the god. What's Salah then? I don't even know what's higher than a god, but I don't know whatever that is, that's what Salah would be. So, you know what I mean? When we talk about Salah, we got to put some respect on his name, man. Like this disrespect I've been seeing recently is just, it's kind of crazy, man. It kind of hurts me as a Liverpool fan, like hearing the way that people talk about him. I'm like, rah, like Salah, you're talking about him like he's just Nunez or something like that. That's crazy.
Yeah, it is. Look, I've always said I would let Salah go if I had forwards I could trust that would go bang the goals in, but we haven't. So we have to keep Mo Salah. It's as simple as that. And if you think about it, Mo went away to AFCON in January, got injured, and has not really played much since January, yeah. And I think he's only like 4 or 5 goals behind the top goal scorer in the Premier League still.
Yeah, he is.
He's
injured. He's still injured.
If he never went to AFCON and got injured, he's probably top goal scorer in the league right now.
Yeah, 100%.
So
he had 17, didn't he? Didn't he have 17 before he went? Like,
it's the same as the Haaland debate. It's the same thing as the Haaland debate, I think, with Mo. Haaland ain't particularly pleasing on the eye for literally no one. He's the ugliest man on earth. But he's literally not pleasing to look on the eye at all, right? But if Haaland played for Liverpool, we'd have won the Premier League by now with 3 games to go. Because of the chances we create. You just need someone to put the ball in the back of the net. You know? I think
who created those chances, though, Jamie?
Yeah.
Who created those chances?
Salah creates so many chances, man. Salah would be on 25 assists by now if someone could put the ball in the back of the net. He's an all-round. I literally think his game is... I think Salah's quite a clever player and individual, and he knows his game can't be the same Salah from when he was at Basel to Fiorentina to Rome and to early in his Liverpool career to where he is now. So he's adapted his game. And I think he's a complete forward now. You know, you look at his game now, he can drop deep, he can create from a deeper position. He's passing in that final third is excellent, you know, and he can still score goals. So he's adapted his game for longevity. I don't see nothing wrong with that. I don't care if he can't go past the fullback anymore. If you're getting him in areas of the pitch that's going to suit Mo Salah and make him more lethal. If you've got Mo Salah on the bar line, for me, that's no good for me anymore. You need Salah on the width of the 18-yard box, in my opinion. That's where you need Mo Salah in the best position. I don't know if you guys all agree with that, but that's for me. That's for me in a way. But look, Salah, apparently he's not going. I was just listening to loads of reports there. So basically, there's been no offer from any Saudi team. There's going to be no offer from any Saudi team. Apparently, I'll go with Cal with this first. Unless a Saudi team wants to bid for him, Salah apparently is going nowhere. So with that in mind, what do you do with Mo? Because Mo wants a 1-year extension. Now, 1-year extension gives us a 2-year deal, and then the season after next, we're back to where we were with 1 year left. What would you do with Mo Salah if you was Michael Edwards right now and you could talk to Mo one-on-one? What would your plan be for Mo Salah?
Firstly, I'll say, bro, how do you get those abs? Because I'm struggling to lose this belly. Now, all seriousness, if I'm Ed again, I might be the worst person to ask this because I'm a massive Salah fan and I do like a big squad with good depth in most positions. I think with Arne coming in, I do think you want to have a little bit of consistency there. And he's our best attacker. I think everyone's kind of unanimously said it. He's our best attacker. If you can hold on to your best attacker, you hold on to your best attacker, especially during a transition. I would keep Salah and I would still look to bring in another right winger who can share the load with Salah. Because I think every other forward in that front line has been able to share their responsibilities this season apart from Salah. Salah hasn't.
You've been saying that for the longest though, Cal.
Yeah. Well, I was just going to say, like, since 2018, I've been saying we need someone to come in and take, like, some of the burden off Salah. 2019, I was calling for Pedro Neto. I've been calling for Elise, Adeyemi, all these players, Diaby. We're seeing them just move around to other clubs, and I'm sitting there going, like, even a Leon Bailey, like, you're telling me we can't get one player.
I've just got to say one thing. Every player you call out we need always gets multiple injuries. So I think you just need to keep it inside. Now.
Yeah, that's why I keep it to myself now, to be honest.
Whatever you do, don't say Bakayoko.
Yeah.
He'll start getting injured.
But no, I genuinely believe if we go out and get a proper right winger, I think it opens so many options. Shout out to Lakers, who's in the chat, speaking to him today. If we were to bring in another right winger, it means that Salah doesn't just have to play at right wing. Let's say, for example, we have an injury crisis. We need him to play through the middle. He can play as a striker. So again, it just opens up avenues. And look, he might struggle next season, just like Mane did in the quad chasing season on the wing. And the manager might go, I'm going to play him through the middle. He can still score goals. He can still make chances. Let's try him in the middle. And you never know. He could take on a new lease of life there. I just think you have to keep a player like Salah. I don't think any other club would be sitting there like talking about their top goal scorer, their top assist maker, going, should we cash in? I think we may be one of the only clubs. I think Man United did it with Ronaldo, but I think the circumstances were very different.
Like, different,
yeah. Like I just think we're the only fan base that look at Salah and go, yes, if there's good money that comes in, let's sell him. But who'd you go and buy? Because if you sell him for 150 million, the whole world knows you've got 150 million pounds to play with. And you know what happens then. A player who costs 50 million is now going to cost you 70, 80 million. So for me, I wouldn't be cashing in on Salah. I understand that people want the money because of how we've historically been run, but I'd arguably say I don't think we're in that phase anymore. I think we've hit now another phase after I saw Caicedo bid going. So I wouldn't be selling Salah, and I'd be hoping that the owners and Edwards will back the manager enough to fill out the squad and repair some of the positions in the team that need repairing.
Fair enough. I've got a couple of super chats that have got good for this conversation here. It says, Albert says, big up to Albert, thank you very much. It says, time for Mo to go is now. Relieve the new manager of this prima donna Add Nunez and let's have a fresh slate. His tantrums are not good for the team, says Albert.
One tantrum, Uncle. One tantrum.
Big up Dean with a super as well. It says, personally, gents, I think he didn't develop his game further, hence he's struggling a bit with his overall game, passing, dribbling, shot variations. Cal, my point on a curl shot, my opinion. Like, Sadiq, with Dean there with a super, big up Dean as well. Struggling with his game. I'm not sure if he's struggling with his game. I just think we don't get the best out of him because we isolate him too much in the wide areas now. What do you reckon?
So I think everyone can contest to this. There are a few times within the game where Salah's playing and he's in around about the goal area, normally on the wing. And big up Gene for this memberships.
Big up, Gene.
And he'll go for one of these curled shots to go into the top corner. And I would say probably 98% of the time it's not going to come off, and it's just a waste. And there's people in the box that he could have passed to, and I'm just like, Salah, why do you do that? Do you know what I mean? Why do you do that? And it's like, again, I'd have to go to Cal to ask the last time he actually scored one of those. Might have been the Chelsea game, the last one I can remember. Do you know what I mean? There's certain shots that they're not coming off, and I get it. You know, at first you don't succeed, try again. But it's just like, how many bloody times do you got to keep on trying the same thing and getting? Do you know what I mean? That's the definition of insanity. Doing the same thing, expecting do you know what I mean? So I just feel that there's certain elements to Salah's game that he's not performing to the heights that he used to, and that's where you should adapt. That's where you should be looking to do something different. Can I bring someone in? Can I hold the ball for a split second and do something different? And I get frustrated as hell. As G said, like, Salah is my favorite player on in the Liverpool team, but I do get frustrated. I do feel that, like, you know, times when he could have been passing and looking up and doing something different, he doesn't. He's just goal hungry. I don't know. He's like a bull. Do you know what I mean? He sees the goal, he sees the red and has to shoot. Do you know what I mean? I'm just like, no. You know, so I get really frustrated with that as watching Salah. I do believe that, you know, he's got enough to his game. He's not a one-trick pony. He's got, you know, plenty to offer. But it's just, if I can remove one element for Salah, it'll be that. It'll be just to think a bit more smartly, look for someone else. If you can't, then take a shot, sort of thing. I know sometimes you're in a position and you're running in on goal, there's no one around, no one's caught you up, and you've got to do it. That's fair enough. But 9 times out of 10, there's always someone in the box, always someone he could have done something with, and he always takes his shot, and it gets me really frustrated.
Yeah, I can hear you. K-Mac, does he have to adapt his game now, Salah, and become maybe the number 9 for Liverpool?
I mean, we spoke about this before. I don't think the inverted has helped Salah. I just don't. It pushes him too far wide.
Yeah,
pushes him too far away from the attack and play. I mean, what we have seen from Salah in adapting his game, some of his assists are out of this world. Like, seriously, like, there's no one on the pitch that can do them like that. And you have to give him credit for that. And he's done it a number of times. And he's put so many chances on plates for people who just can't score. And I sit there and I think, just put Salah there. Just put Salah in that position and give the ball to one of our really creative midfielders, and then they give the ball to Salah. And then you take out the person who misses the chance, which is normally Nunez or Diaz. So what do you want? Do you want Salah, or do you want Salah there instead? You know, those Diaz chances against Man City, that was Salah. That's a goal. One of them's a goal. Like, we all sit there and say it. Like, we all sit here and go, well, if that was Jota, that would have been scored. If that was Salah, it would have been scored. How many times have we seen Salah go clean through and finish and win a game repeatedly over the years? What I do want to say, though, and I don't think people have looked into it enough, is there was 2 reports from 2 of the leading reporters about Salah. One was David Ornstein and one was Paul Joyce. And what people haven't looked into is the first one, which was David Ornstein, never mentioned a new contract. He never mentioned a new contract. Okay, so Salah, Liverpool were looking to keep Salah next season, but there wasn't a contract mentioned by Ornstein. Then the other report came from Paul Joyce, which said Liverpool are looking at a contract and are willing to let him stay. That means we're willing to let him see out his contract for another year, which means he leaves on a free. So I feel those reports, I like my conspiracies. And I can see Cal laughing at that. I honestly feel they've been leaked by Liverpool to get Saudi Arabian clubs to be interested, to know that Salah is an option for them if they want him. And I honestly feel that's been done on purpose. I just do. Like, I love Salah. I want him to stay. I want Nunez to go. I want Diaz to go. I keep Salah 100%.
Fair.
Edwards can fund like a Coutinho kind of revolution where he gets a couple of big players in. That can be done with Salah money. And if Salah stays, Salah plays. So you don't get your new guy in because your new guy's never going to get a game because Salah doesn't like coming out of team. So it's a case of what do you do here? But I felt like those two reports were really interesting because they kind of contradicted each other. And they were also, I think, leaked by Liverpool on purpose. And also someone's just put in the chat, Asensio Somerville, agents being at Liverpool. I was going to say that. I think that's the one that's coming in next year.
Well, I hope as well.
And he's Dutch.
He's quality as well. G,
he's quality.
What do you reckon, G? Would you have Salah as your number 9 next season? How would you use him next season?
Honestly, I don't know. Like, for me, he hasn't really shown that he could be a number 9. If I'm being 100% honest, I don't know. Like, I'm torn with that one. I feel like he's more of a facilitator more than anything, as opposed to saying that he's a number 9. So I'd put him, and I know Enz will love this. I would actually put him behind the striker instead, as opposed to putting him as the actual 9. I think you can go out and actually get an actual number 9. But I think also as well, one of the things I always think about is I almost feel like with the way that he plays his game now, the way that he's just kind of on the periphery, and he try and make these passes, these assists, and blah blah blah, and obviously these players keep missing. If we just had competent players, I feel like you'd actually just see a natural progression from him being the main goal scorer to being the main creator in the attack. Whereas now, because he's Salah, we expect him to do this. He's not doing this, so you're going to slate him. Fair enough. But I do think that he is in a position where you're playing with a bunch of not so good players. They're not really up to par. So the problem you're going to keep having is that we're going to have to keep turning to you. Like, we are in a position, we have to turn to you because you're literally the best attacker that we have in the team. So when you are trying to put it on a plate for Nunez, put it on a plate for Gakpo, for Diaz, potentially even Jota as well, when you're doing these things and they're not scoring, it does become a case of like, okay, well, now we need more from you. Whereas the reality is, I almost feel like a natural progression in any normal team, he would have just gone from what he was before, which is the main goal scorer, to literally just a facilitator, just setting up. I mean, he's already got the, I don't know if Nunez has potentially surpassed him, but he's got the most assists. So that tells you that, like, he is, and he's not scoring 30 goals, like he's only on whatever it is now. So that kind of shows you that he's almost slowing down in that regards. But you can see with games, the passes he does, like some of the things that he will do in the attacking third, that's where he's dangerous. Obviously, if we look for him defensively and stuff like that, he doesn't help in that regard. But I also think it's almost like the Trent thing. He's not being asked to do certain things. So if you're not being asked to do it, I'll be honest, why would I do it? My job is to do this. The manager said, you guys have got it back. You guys have got it back there. He's never once done it. Even when Mane was here, he was never the guy to get back. He was always the one to stay forward. I don't know why we expect him for that to change now. Like why we think, oh yeah, you know what? Now he's going to start, doing this and blah blah blah. I don't really get all of that. So yeah, I think with him moving forward, if he is going to stay, I just think you're just going to have to move him inside potentially, or that role as a right winger has to be played differently. Like it can't be an out and out winger, beat your man, because he can't do that. I kind of need you to get on the ball. It's going to have to be ball to feet and, all of that kind of stuff. And we're going to have to be doing one touch movement so he can do 1-2s and all of these various different things. Just put him on the inside, man. Have the ball fed to him. He can play the pass, get the striker like a real number 9. Bob's your uncle. You're good.
I'm on mute. The way Arne Slot plays as well is, his wingers are different to the way Klopp plays. So it might be, Salah might struggle out in that system. But Enz, how you doing, man? Thank you for coming in. I hope you're good. Your favorite subject, man, Mo Salah.
Yeah, sorry I'm late, man. I said I had to come get back in after my son's training, but nah, man, all good, bro. Mo Salah is the topic.
At the moment, we're finishing this topic right now, but it's good that you.
It's all right. If you want to finish, you can finish. It's fine.
I know you have a lot of sport.
No, you gotta get Eds in on this. No,
I need Eds' opinion because I've seen
expert.
He's Mo Salah out things all over the show.
No, Jamie, call it for what it is. It's an agenda. Why you got him on here in the first place, I don't know, but let the agenda run. Go on, Em, say your piece, and let's get on with it.
I'll let Jamie
Simon Jordan. We've got the Simon Jordan of Mo Salah in the house.
What's the question? What's the question, Jamie? And I'll answer.
So, Mo Salah, would you keep him, sell him? What are the reasons? Also, if you were going to keep him, where do you see him playing next season? Especially under Arne Slot's way of playing wingers.
Yeah, I want him to go, man. I justified my reasons long before, months ago, when I said the team looks a lot more balanced when he's not playing. It's not a shade on it. It's not that he's not a good enough player. It's just the team is evolving. And sometimes when the team evolves, sometimes you have to get rid of certain players, man. Would you say Tottenham play better without Harry Kane? Yeah, they're not just solely looking for him. When Mo's on the pitch, everyone seems to just let's give it to Mo. Even if he's got 2 man, let's give it to Mo. We looked at a graph. I did a show yesterday and we looked at a graph. In the last 3 years, his 1v1 take-ons have massively decreased. So that's why we're noticed now in games, it's like it's just bypassing him. And if he gets the goal, we then justify that and go, well, that's Mo, he gets the GA. But it's an 11v11 game of football. We have 10 outfield players. And at times you could say Liverpool playing with 8 because Trent sometimes goes missing down that right-hand side. Word to Savage, he said that right-hand side had a stroke because Mo's not there, Trent ain't there, so that right-hand side just looks dodgy. But yeah, that's my reason. I think defensively doesn't help us, and I know it's tactical because Klopp likes to leave him up. But I'm like the guy that's on the other side, opposite to him. You got Diaz that gets ridiculed inside, but he does a lot more work defensively and then expected to attack as well. But we just kind of give Mo that, I know, money in the bag or whatever everyone wants to call it these days and go, well, because he's done it for so many seasons, we should let him off. No, we should do it season by season because at the end of the day, what he did last year doesn't count towards this year, does it? It's in the moment, in the mind, now. And he's not been performing at all. Games are going by him. How many times have we looked and gone, like, get Mo off? Did Mo start? Is Mo on the pitch? You don't see it, man. And we're more balanced when he's not on the pitch. And it's not I don't want to knock him and say, no, Mo has to go and it's an agenda. I'm just giving you the reasons. If the new manager, Slot, knows we need hard-working wingers, can Mo succeed in that? No. And then I threw this out and G got onto me. So G, I heard you a minute ago about, I can see him playing more inside. When I said this, you cooked me for it. I said, nah, if he wants to stay at Liverpool Football Club, put him in the 10, man. Put him behind the striker then.
But you said this in a system that we don't play a 10. He plays
all right,
a 10.
But now we got a manager. Put him in there then. We got a manager.
But I agree. That's like, remember, you're trying to say this for a manager who is not flexible, doesn't know how to play with a 10. So we're still playing 4-3-3. So I can never see, like, that's never going to work. Under Klopp, that will never work. Slot, if he decides to play with a 10, that's the only position. Because I agree with what you're saying. This is where I'm with you. This is why I'll be with you on this, because in terms of wing play, I don't want to see him on the wing anymore. Like, I actually don't want to see him there because everything ends basically just said there, all factual, all correct, and everyone can see that he has to play a different position. I just don't think that could be a number 9. Like, I don't want him to be that.
No, I don't think number 9, second striker. Where
he
he can float in and around just behind, he can create and get shots away there. But as a winger, man, I think he's now done and dusted there. I think he needs to evolve. Messi did it, Ronaldo did it. The players that we look up to and say, nah, they're world-class players, and I still think Mo is one of them. It's just that he's not performing at the moment. He can evolve his positioning. He can evolve. I don't want us to do a system where it's around players no more. Our system heavily involves Trent. It heavily involves Mo Salah. And then the rest of the team suffers because of that. We do the inverted system to give Trent, a little midfield role so he can be happy. We leave Mo forward and give him all, everyone wants to pass to him, even when he can't dribble past no one, because that's just Mo. When we have players and there's no egos and there's no selfishness in the team, it's from January after Mo, obviously he cooked up before he left the Newcastle game. But after that, we saw Bradley come into it. We saw Diaz playing, right side and floating across gap holes, and Nunez. Everyone was kind of just helping and chipping in, and the team just looked defensively more solid, and we looked a lot more fluid. But our chance that we were creating are more simple. We simplified the chances. Where now it feels like when we get forward, it's like if Mo ain't there, don't give it to Mo. And then if Mo, he's going to put a ball to the back stick, he's going to hit someone's shins, he's going to try and pass it and hit someone in the body, and then we get counter-attacked. Because Trent is inverted now. Mo has hit someone's shins, and now who's on the right-hand side? Now we're going to cook up, if it's not Kwanzaa, we're going to cook up Kanate, because now these men have to do right back, centre back, defensive midfielder, right-sided winger. That they're doing some mad jobs on that side because the two Donnies that's on the right and doing what they need to do. But it's about Mo. I think getting Mo out the team would massively help. And then the money we get for him, the age-old thing is we can't replace Mo because everyone keeps thinking it's goals, goals, goals. We did a show and we explained, right? We broke down the two teams that are ahead of us, Arsenal and Man City. They're ahead of us on points. Do they have like massive goal scorers apart from Haaland? No. Everyone else, Liverpool actual forward has more goals than them. But what we need players that's going to be able to be involved in the game for 90 minutes, not for 5 minutes, not for the last 2 minutes, and then they get the goal and we say, amazing game. We need players that's going to be involved for 90 minutes. We need players that's going to beat their man 1v1. We don't need players that keep kicking.
I know why En's saying this as well, because the person behind him in the picture right now. When we come to that, he's getting his defence ready straight away. I know what Enz is doing here. But
I'm waiting.
Through this whole thing, this has been Cal through what Enz was saying there, man.
Sorry.
I'm gonna lie, man, you're my brother. I'm not like a person to attack.
Yeah, sorry, man. To be fair, I think Enz does bring up some great points. I ain't gonna lie. Our right hand side is defensively shot. It is. It's our weakest part of our team. The whole right side of our pitch, it always has been. We're a bit lopsided.
What right hand side?
Look, me and Calvin spoke about this. When Trent was out injured and Salah weren't playing for that little bit of time as well, we actually looked more balanced as a unit, as a team, defensively and attack. Then people bring up it's the teams that you play, but then I'll bring up when everyone came back, we lost to Crystal Palace at home. So what's the difference here? Cal, what just finishing off because I see you was the most animated there. What's your answer in return, man?
I mean, startled. Startled, like I didn't expect it. Like I knew from obviously watching Ends Man that he wanted Salah to go. I didn't expect it to be as savage as it was, to be honest. All jokes aside though, make some very good points. I'll continue to go back and just be like, the other forwards aren't trustworthy though. He's the only one that's trustworthy. And I think that's the issue. I think I almost look at Haaland, I look at Saka, who are Arsenal and Man City. They've had pretty poor second halves of the season. Like, in my opinion, Haaland's been terrible second half of the season. Saka's been okay at best. But no one's speaking about them because the rest of the teams do what they're meant to be doing.
Yeah, but they're also getting goals that might win them the title at the end as well.
Not true, but I mean, if Salah, if we said earlier, if other players were finishing their dinner, Salah's on way more assists, and we're winning games, for example. And again, I like the first game of the season, Chelsea away, Salah gets the assist. The Arsenal game where we draw 1-1, he puts it on a plate for Trent. Trent hits the post. The Man City game where he draw 1-1, he puts it on a plate for Diaz, misses. Like, what more can he do apart from score the goals himself? Like, you literally add 2 points to the Arsenal game and the City game and take a point away from both of them, and we're sitting pretty at the top right now. And then, you know, the person Ensman's representing them. You know, no.
Cal, the Brighton game.
I'm just raising my hand just in case. Can I jump in?
Yeah.
You're jumping in anyway.
I put my hand up. I had to ask just in case. No, great point you made there. But the only problem is, even though, yes, you're right, create those moments, the rest of the game, he was stinky. So I'm like,
not in the Arsenal game, bro. In the Arsenal game, he got the equalizer. And he was good. He had Zinchenko on toast in that.
Yeah, we give him that. The little long ball from Trent, and he cut in and put in the top. We'll give him that one. But I'm just saying,
so disingenuous. Look at the little long ball cutting score.
That was an incredible goal.
No, but I'm just saying, like, even though he has those moments, can we not out right now on the planet look around and go, can we not get someone that can create these chances? Are we saying these chances are only Mo certified, where only Mo can create these?
No, you're right.
Or can we get someone that's going to be effective throughout 90 minutes? And it's not a knock to Mo, because he's one of our best, and he's been immense for the club. It's just now, and I'm not looking last year, year before that. I'm talking about now, this season, and going forward into next season, what we need as a team. If Mo's going to evolve in the team, fantastic. If he wants to stay, cool. But I need more, bro. I can't just have you out in the wing and then you go missing for the whole game and then maybe give me a through ball. I can't have that. I need you to be cooking your fullback every game. And you're allowed bad games.
Nah. I'm sorry.
Get him, G. That's that. Get him, G, bro.
No. To be honest, everything else you're saying, that's calm. But what Enz is asking for, he can probably only name 2 players on the planet who do that. I don't know anyone outside of Mbappe and Vinicius who do exactly.
But that's them quick dons, man. We can get someone to kick and run, bro, and go past a player, bro. Adama,
no.
Adama's been dead food.
No. I agree with you.
Dead, right? You put Adama in Liverpool, he runs past his fullback at least once. Mo ain't doing that.
And again, no. I can agree with him on that one, but again, I'll tell him again. You can only find 2 players on the planet who can then get the job done. There isn't, and you and I both know that. That's the problem. So where I agree with you is in terms of what you feel in terms of Salah and what he's not been doing. The taking on a man, 100% agree he's not doing that anymore. In terms of the shins thing that you're talking about, all of that stuff, 100%. Slipper foot shots. Everyone is like Enz is correct in saying that. But guess what? We have a man who can take on a player in Diaz, 0 end product. We have a guy who's fast, can't hit the barn door. We have a guy who can finish, never ever available. We have a player who is just there and is just a player in Gakpo. So when I'm asking for you to, when we're saying all of this stuff, what you're saying isn't wrong. So it's hard to say.
In the scale.
No. It's hard.
I'll tilt it back in a sec. Go ahead.
No. It's hard to disagree with what he's saying in terms of Salah's faults. That's understandable. The problem that he's going to have, and he will continue to have, is there isn't that many available players out there who can at least give you something in that regards, because we already have the other things. Like I said, we've got Diaz. Diaz can take on a man. Guess what? No end product. So now we're in a position where it's like, okay, if he doesn't have end product, now we're basically looking at a light-skinned version of Doku. So the reality is, what do we do now? Okay, we need to go and find someone else who can go out there and take on a man, score goals, get assists. I'm like, bro, like, what are you asking? Like, that's the bit I don't get. What are you asking for? Like some anomaly player, like this guy who can do everything? Vinicius, Mbappe. That is it. I'll tell you right now.
That's not what I'm asking for. Big up to Craig in the chat, because he just threw like 4 names out there.
None of which get the things that Enzo's asking for. But go on, continue.
Right. I'm saying is yes.
None of
I
them.
need you. Listen, you're right in terms of you got the fast done up front. That's fine. He still scored second most goals. He's only 4 goals behind Mo, the savior that you keep talking
So he's behind
about.
Mo. So you're saying he's
4 goals
Mo.
behind Mo, the savior.
he's behind Mo.
No problem. No,
So he's behind
listen, no problem, bro. I didn't say there's an issue. I'm just stating something. It's not an issue. All right. The other guys have chipped in. You're right. He needs to improve his end product, but he's actually trying. I'm looking at games and
my son tries to write and he still hasn't got that right. We need to, bro, we're not doing the trying thing anymore, bro. That argument can't wash, bro. We can't do the trying thing.
Do you just want to keep Mo on that right hand side doing nothing then?
No, I just said it. I'm with you. Yes.
Okay, cool.
Put him on the
can
inside.
get someone to replace him then. We could easily get someone to replace him.
No. You're this is where you're getting it twisted. If you're going to get someone, he ain't replacing what that guy's doing. You're gonna have to play a whole different way now because that guy's not getting you the GA.
The new gaffer is in.
And that's exactly what me and Cal have been saying. Like, you've literally just justified what we said at the start. Like, if the other guys did their job, we wouldn't be talking about
exactly.
Mo.
We wouldn't even be here having a conversation.
But here's the thing, though. I would still talk about him because at the end of the day, even if the other guys were doing their job, he's still not performing.
So
and
that's down to the manager. The manager should be putting Mo in a different position then on the pitch.
Nah, because the manager doesn't make Nunez miss 32 big chances. Like that ain't
I was gonna say I feel that Mo has Klopp in some sort of headlock because the amount of times we watch games where we feel that Mo should be substituted, he doesn't get substituted. Do you know what I mean? Go back to and I think Klopp touched on it the other day where when Mane was still playing and Mane was pissed off for Salah and then Mane gets substituted and when Salah was having a stinky game. You know what I mean? Yeah. I don't know what Mo has on Klopp, and I feel that what I'm looking forward to with Arne when he comes in is that he won't have that. Do you know what I mean? I don't think he'll be. I like to think he wouldn't be afraid to. No, you coming off. Do you know what I mean? Putting on Gakpo or whoever on. Do you know what I mean? And I'm quite interested to see because I heard he likes to use a lot of wingers, like we with Klopp's system. We need loads of midfielders. He likes loads of wingers. That's the position he mostly takes off. So I think one Cal will get his dream of having someone to deputise alongside the Salah, and you never know, he might even get an extra 2 right-sided players. Do you know what I mean, to help? So I'm very interested to see what Slot does in regards to this, and maybe won't have this because he won't be getting the main shine because other guys are playing. So we'll see.
How many chances did Mo miss against Brighton again? But he scored the winner, didn't he? Didn't he not catch Darwin and big chance missed in that game?
Oh, he was poor in that game. He was really poor in that game.
Did he not catch Darwin with big chance miss, bro? So he missed.
No, that's fair.
I swear Darwin had like 11 shots in one game and scored 0.
That's what Mo did, bro. Don't convince.
No, that was Darwin against Chelsea. That was Darwin.
Yeah, thank you, Carl. Thank you.
Darwin 4 times in one game.
Thank you.
I love the passion. But we're going to get off the Salah chat. Yeah, I love the passion. Though everyone in the chat as well. It's great conversation. But we're going to talk about this guy now, Arne Slot. Our new manager. Look at the man.
Hey, that guy was sneaky, Yo, that guy was sneaky.
Arne Slot is coming
to Varys or something like that.
Yeah, he was a sneaky guy.
He's got no cock, has he? If I remember rightly, or something like that. Isn't he?
Yeah.
He's like a Ken doll, ain't he? Smooth. How do they go to the toilet? That's what I want to know. He pisses out of his belly button or something weird. It's mental. Arne Slot, though, he's going to be Liverpool's new manager. I go round the panel. Quick question, quick answers. K-Mac, are you excited about the brand new future under Liverpool with Michael Edwards, Richard Hughes, and Arne Slot? Yeah or no?
I'm excited about the first 2, but not the last one.
How dare you insult Arne Slot?
Quickly round the table.
Sadiq?
So, can I just mention something on Slot as well?
No, you can't. Round the table.
So 239 games, yeah? 148 wins, 51 draws, 40 losses. He's got a 61% win ratio. He's been managing top level for 4 years. He has not got the experience to manage Liverpool. which is why he's probably going to be a yes man and just the coach. And that's it.
Fair enough, Sadiq.
Thanks for that, K-Mac.
No problem. Why were you going to say the same?
No, I wasn't actually. No, I think I am excited. In regards of a new lease of life, seeing what he brings to see. Like at the end of the day, I don't know. I've got some strange sort of conspiracy theory that like he's only in the job for like the year, and then we're gonna get our real man, which is Alonso. You know what I mean? That's just in the back of my mind. You know what I mean? In the fake reality that I live in. But for the meantime, I've done a bit of research on him over the last couple of days, and my only concern with him, like going forward, happy. But I'm concerned about the defense because his team's still letting a lot of goals, just like we letting a lot of goals. He's not, clean sheets is not his forte. Do you know what I mean? So, but I'm gonna trust in Edwards because of his. I know you said quick answer, so I'm doing a bit of a long answer. I just realised I'm trusting Edwards in regards of his recruitment and how he'll look at bringing in players in. And obviously, Slot's just got a manager, so yes, he is technically a yes man. Doesn't get much say in the matter, but I guess we'll see. But I'm excited. I'm excited for the change. I'm excited for a new lease of life within this football team, and yeah, we'll see.
Fair enough, Jay.
Intrigued about Slot. Not too excited about the first two. Yeah, there's something questionable with the Edwards and Richard Hughes, kind of them coming in, what they're coming to do, how they're doing it. I don't see that I don't see that being a good recipe going forward. You're going to literally need a Carlo Ancelotti to do what they're trying to do, which is almost like Madrid. We'll get the players, you get the manager. Like we've got the best manager in the world or one of the best. We'll just get the players. You just do your thing, blah, blah, blah. We do not have that. And we don't have the money to do so. So for them to come in and just say, yeah, he's just going to play with the players that we sign, that's where I'm a little bit like, I think everyone's going a bit over the top with Edwards and Richard Hughes. And I don't think they really know what's actually going to happen moving forward. But I'm very, very interested. You know, I've wanted Klopp out for like 2 years. So I'm just happy to see some different football anyway. So that I'm very interested in seeing, regardless. But yeah. That's me.
Mine was 3.
No one cares about you.
Ed, what's your thoughts on the whole 3 of them coming in? Yay, nay? What are you feeling?
I'm cool with it, man. To be fair, but Sadiq, to one of your points, I was looking at. Obviously, there's always going to be different stats you look at, but they're one of the lowest in Europe in terms of goals against and goals conceded. So they're not doing too bad defensively. And then to what you said, K-Mac, as well, you can't be happy that 2 of them are coming in. You trust them, but you have to trust the guy that they got in. You have to trust that guy, because if you trust Edwards and Rich, you have to trust, Arnie as well. For me, Jamie, though, to be fair, I'm just happy that there's going to be different ideas, man. I wanted to see a different formation for years. I want to see maybe using wing backs. I wanted the 4-2-3-1 with a 10, and now we get a chance to kind of see what the current crop of players can do with fresh ideas, different tactical, and the players that we've got, man. This long ball, into Trent Hollywood pass over the top every 2 seconds. Like, we got better players than that, man, and some of them don't want to play that style. So fingers crossed with the new style, we can unlock some of these players that we got at the club.
I'll just get to these super chats and wait for Cal to come back as well. There's some rumours going online at the moment that Liverpool are trying to do a swap deal with Ugarte for Luis Diaz. I don't know if anyone's just seen that. So, yeah, that's...
Do we do that kind of deal?
Well, Mark Edwards is back now. Fuck knows what that
Anything's on the table now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's crazy.
He didn't like doing them transfers. He didn't like loan deals. He didn't like doing them transfers and stuff like that. So, who knows? It could be I think this is going to be a completely different Liverpool, personally, than what we've been used to for the last 7
Have you not heard about Mendy as well? Mendy's like strong rumours now. Mendy from Real Madrid.
I think we're going to buy quite a lot of players this year.
Yeah.
Charlie Williams, big up the super. He says, as a fan of Nunez, he has to move to left wing. His finishes isn't good enough to wear the number 9 shirt. Salah has to play the 10 role if we play a 4-2-3-1. Yeah, I mentioned the 10 role yesterday as well. Big up H as well. Big up to you, man. We need to watch other leagues a bit more. Currently watching this blonde tubby named Conrad bitch in Vinny. God's sake. No, we do have to watch other leagues more. You know, I know when we come to transfer windows and everyone's all of a sudden a expert on the like Portuguese league and certain players that they've never watched play, and it's my funniest time of year. I love it. I absolutely love it. Look, I'm excited about the club changing their ways. We've been so used to playing one way for so long and a certain structure of our club that I actually think the players are getting a little bit bored of it too.
Mhm.
You know, I think they're getting a little, not that they want Klopp to leave. They're not, it's not like they're not playing for the manager. They love the manager, obviously, and they don't want him going anywhere. But I just get the feeling the boys, the players look like they're a bit like, you know, you turn up for the new season, all fresh, looking good, ready to go, and it's the same thing as the season before the season. I think eventually players need a different change. They need a change. All players do.
I think if
And
you eat the same thing for like, I don't know, a year, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. Just imagine I'm from the West Indies, so I'm eating rice and peas and stewed chicken now. I love that stuff. But if I had it every day for a year, I'm gonna get bored of it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm gonna get bored of it. My taste buds gonna get accustomed to it. And someone comes with pie and mash, I'm gonna lap that up and think, oh my god, that's the best pie and mash ever. Do you know what I mean? So I think a change is welcome, and that's what I'm looking forward to, because I'm getting tired of sort of seeing the same thing. And
well, you hit the nail on the head by talking about insanity, because that's what's been going on for a very long time at Liverpool. Like, the definition of insanity, just keep on doing the same thing over and over again, and you're going to get a different result. No, we haven't.
And by the way, pie and mash rules the world. I'm just putting that.
Yeah,
out
it
there,
does.
by
Pie and mash is amazing. I watch Liverpool play. I constantly talk about this all the time on my own channel. Before I had a channel, I used to talk about it on Coppish Call-ins as well. So I've never changed my mind. The way we play has always bugged me. It's always very like, we don't have a lot of variations in our play. Our variation now is having Trent having a free roll as a right back, which is just mad. He's just got a free roll. He's not even inverted anymore. He's just like, Trent said it himself, I have a free roll. It's just, can he like come off the pitch, like do like roll and sub as well? Like,
and
he's just like walk off the pitch for a bit.
I honestly don't think we get the best out of Trent Alexander-Arnold right now. I really don't think we see the best of Trent, you know.
100%.
And it looks like, and I don't know if this is a coincidence or anything like that, but it literally does look like our tactics are short passes at the back that are very boring. Put Alisson under a lot of pressure where he looks like a donkey when he's about to kick the ball, and we're all like, bloody hell, what are we doing? But it looks like that's the plan, because we do it all game, every game. And then you give it a Trent who tries a Hollywood pass. It'll work off sometimes, and then you build from an attacking area of the pitch. Sometimes it don't work, and Liverpool get counter-attacked on, and the opposition have a chance to score every single time. Am I right or wrong there, guys?
No, perfect, man.
Right.
We're talking about
think how we play.
Well, you're talking about the new gaffer. There was a couple of things that I really want. There was one point when they spoke about we don't control games anymore. The way that we play, it's like tit for tat, up and down basketball type game. You shoot, we shoot. You shoot, we shoot. We forgot how to control games, man. And I feel, with him coming in, and that's one of the things they mentioned about him. He knows when to control it, when to shift the formation in game. It was like sometimes you'll just go 6 at the back, put 2 in front, break us down now. I miss those days when we would score first and you're like, well, that's game done and dusted. Where now we score first and we're panicking like we need another 2 at least, because we know we're going to give them a goal. And the other thing as well, man, they play a shorter game, but they play a transition game where it's shorter passes, snappier passes, triangles. So that means we're going to be able to play through lines. We got players like that can play. We don't utilize them enough. We just want them to kind of just run up and down like headless chicken. Now we can do that. They're one of the lowest in terms of counter-attacks because they build play, using the ball instead of just, let's just hit a player running behind and then hopefully everyone can catch them up. and then we get caught out in transition when everyone's trying to run forward. So, and even a final third man, you can see that there's patterns in the way he wants to play. So those are kind of the three things I'm looking forward to, man. The shift in formation in game when it's not working, and then also controlling the game, shorter game, and also the pattern when we get forward. People know where they need to be and when they're making runs. With us, honestly, can we say anyone understands where our forwards are? No one knows where they're running, but like there's times we put a cross in, you're like, where's the striker? We put a ball to the back stick, you're like, where's Mo? You put off the other side, where's Diaz? Like, where are you guys? You're meant to be in the
Patterns
box.
are gone. Patterns
Nah,
are gone.
they're in like the midfield for some strange reason. I don't know why they're there.
Have you heard he's a big fan of Pep and how Pep plays, and he sort of mastered his craft on like the styles of Pep? And my concern is, what's he going to be like when he's actually playing Pep? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, look, I look at it like this. I literally think in some way Pep Linders has been our manager for 2 seasons and Klopp's just the face. Because Klopp's come out and said it himself. We're playing Pep Linders' style of football right now. This is what he wanted us to play. They put that bet on it about his career or something. You know, they might as well not do that bet no more. They're both leaving, so you might as well break that bet apart. You know, it don't matter no more. But you know, but we're literally playing Pep Linders' style of football from last season to this season, guys. So for me, it looks, and Pep Linders takes a lot of press conferences now. I've never seen the assistant do League Cup game press conferences, which I think is mad. The man brought out a book in the middle of a season, and he gets a lot of publicity behind him. He is like a manager, and it's like Klopp's the face, ain't he? It's like, them American sweet shops that are everywhere, right? And they're literally just a front for what's actually going on behind the shop. It's pretty much what they are. That's what them American sweet shops are. And I feel like that's what's happening at Liverpool. Pep Linders has been in charge, and Klopp's just the face of the club. I don't know if anyone agrees with that, but
it's mad as well. It's mad as well because we've actually got 2 assistant managers at Liverpool. We always forget about the other guy, Kraukhaus, isn't it? I think it is the other guy who's there, who's always in shorts for some reason on the bench,
just chilling, bro. He has a different role, man. He's just
Had
numbers on the bench. Do you know the other thing as well, man? With our team, our pressing game has gone down the drain, man. And one of the reasons behind that is a lot of the teams now in the Premier League, they now have managers that actually play football. Like a lot of the managers that we're playing against now, they're like, well, it's not like before when you used to press us and we'd panic and kick the ball away or we'll do some craziness and lose it. Now they're just popping the ball around us when we press them. And most of these teams are doing that in the Premier League now. So, yeah, that pressing game is, I think we have to, So I'm so happy, man, because fresh ideas is going to massively help this team.
Yeah, I agree. Cal, so your opinion on Arne Slot, Michael Edwards, Richard Hughes as his team. We know Mr. Slot is going to come in as the head coach, not the manager. But he's going to have, apparently, so the rumours are is that he will tell the transfer committee of the style of footballer that he wants, the profile of footballer that he wants, and then they will go into their database with that profile to find the players. How do you feel about this makeup? It's going to be a completely different Liverpool. Are you excited about it? Unsure about it? How are you feeling?
I know I'm sitting on the fence, but I literally feel like I'm sitting on the fence. And the reason I say that, in terms of profile, Arne Slot kind of ticks all the boxes. Like in terms of personality, character, anyone who knows me knows I've been begging for us to play 4-2-3-1. He plays 4-2-3-1. He likes to be defensively structured and solid. He has a pattern and a style of play in his attacking variations. So he ticks all the right boxes there. My biggest reservation is him coming from the Dutch league. And the reason I say that is because the record of players and managers coming direct from the Dutch league to the Premier League is scarily bad. And and that's my worry, because I think the Dutch league is so much more laid back than the Premier League in terms of playing style. I think managers and players find it so difficult to adapt to the intensity of the league and the style of play. Hence why, even though him and Amorim have very similar CVs. I find that players who come directly from Portugal seem to settle a lot quicker and a lot better in the Premier League. Hence why he was probably one of the players that I looked at and thought, sorry, one of the managers I looked at and thought he may be the best fit. I think it could work very well with Edwards and Hughes. But at the same time, we've seen Edwards and Klopp together, and that's, for me, was the best Liverpool. We've seen Klopp without Edwards, and it hasn't really worked, in my opinion. We're now going to see Edwards without Klopp. So there is a little bit of worry there, because if there's one thing about Klopp that we saw when he was in his prime as a manager, he could get the best out of players. He could make players who look average play to a world-class standard. We don't know if Slot can do that. We do know Edwards has an extensive database, etc. But Hughes coming from Bournemouth, is this going to be too much of a big challenge for him so quickly? Is Edwards just bringing in people that he likes as opposed to necessarily the best people? So, and then the question that still looms, even though I don't necessarily agree to an extent, but will FSG actually put up the money and back the manager as far as we need to?
Well, I think money-wise, I think, because apart from players like Jude Bellingham and stuff like that, I sort of do feel like Klopp always got the players that he wanted off the owners in some ways.
And Werner, he didn't get Werner.
Yeah, didn't want Werner, but we got Jota, who was a far better footballer. So, managers don't always get their first choices as well. This is something we got to remember. You don't always get your first choice because something can happen that don't happen, and you got to go to what's next. And Liverpool have done that before. So the owners, I think, will just run the football club as they've always run the football club. I don't think there'll be any difference in that. I just feel like we got someone better now at using the money better. That's my thing on Michael Edwards and that. I think they will use the money that's available to buy players. I don't think Michael Edwards would have bought Gakpo. I really don't think he would have gone for someone like him if Kudus was available. I think he would have gone for Kudus instead. Or a Somerville at the time before he's getting more popular now. Like Alan Valera, he wanted him time ago, Edwards. And, we didn't go and buy that sort of player when we could have bought that player. I do think it's going to be different. I'm excited by it because I like change. I don't, I do like change. I think Klopp is, I think the way we're playing with Klopp and Pep Linders is not sustainable. And I don't know if them two can change the way they want to play. And it's just not working. It's just as simple as that. And it's not sustainable right now. But obviously, there's some news that broke my heart today. I don't know if you guys have heard this. But, Wataru Endo is going to be leaving Liverpool, apparently. So,
what?
Yeah, apparently Wataru Endo's going back to Germany at the end of the season. And this is how I felt.
I've got nothing left. I've got nothing left.
That's how I felt when I saw that news today. That Endo
that could be Robertson and Slot in their first meeting.
It could be Robertson and Slot as well. I think. Yeah, apparently he's going back to Germany. I've always been an advocate for Endo. I know what his capabilities are. I know he's not, great or anything like that. But I actually thought he brought, a lot to the team once he came in. And
I was always on board with the signing from day one. So
yeah, I think he was perfect.
I got trying to get their disclaimers in from now, bro. Jesus.
Where everyone's asking where I got that from, it was David Ornstein and Paul Joyce.
Wow.
And you don't have to read Twitter for it, guys.
More Liverpool releases.
But to be honest, are we all like, are we sitting here like, do we really care? Like, if
no.
I don't think he's one of the players where I'm like, oh my god, like Endo's leaving, like Jesus, like what are we gonna do? Like, if he goes. Like, I'm just like, all right, you done your thing for one season. You were a stopgap, which is what we should have signed him as anyway. If you go back, thank you for the nothing you helped us to do this season, the Carabao Cup. let's move and get on better players, man. If everyone's, by the way, this is me going off the basis of how everyone is talking about Edwards, by the way. I'm only talking like this because the way everyone speaks about Edwards, he is the Messiah. Edwards is the great one. And him and Richard Hughes are going to come in and do a madness. They're going to be ruthless. No more Jurgen Klopp to be sentimental, even though we all seem to love that when he was here and winning. So, yeah, if that's the case, then Endo going is calm. Like he isn't that good.
Oh my God, no one cares.
I'm not gonna lie. Ends, man, you rattled G. G weren't like this about half an hour ago.
No, G was nice and calm. He was chilled. I could hear it.
Ryan.
He came in talking about Salah, his nonsense about Nunez. I said, nah, you know what? You got my backup, you know. You got my
He's
backup.
just going to do his talk persona now. He's just going to do his talk persona.
Bro, that was so rude, bro. Who is it?
I love Endo.
Okay. Sorry, before you go, Jamie. Why is it always me who has to say it? And then later on, we're going to just say the same thing anyway, but in a nicer tone. We all don't care, realistically, if Endo
We're
goes.
using you as the bad guy. That's
Yeah, and you know what? That's fine. There's always got to be a villain in these stories. But the reality is, we don't care. Like, big up Justin. You just put in 2 players that people would probably prefer to sign anyway.
I agree.
You know, like, and by the way, if we could have had a situation where, like, obviously I don't know what Liverpool's finances are like for the summer, but I'm assuming it's going to be lower than Nottingham Forest. So, you know what I mean? So I know we're not going to have that kind of money. So if he's going to be someone where we can generate some kind of fee for him, then yeah, like, if it's going to help. That's my only issue with Liverpool, is that if we get money in, are we going to use that to get players in, though? If not, just keep Endo, because he's shown to be someone who can at least be a good squad option if you choose to go with someone else potentially.
Yeah, I'd like to keep Endo as a squad option.
Yeah, I'm good with that as well, by the way.
I'm fine with that. I'm absolutely fine. I think we all are pretty much.
I'll play Morton instead.
I just
I'd play Morton as well. I'm not blocking that guy's path. That guy's path isn't getting blocked for me.
Nah. Morton is like them kind of Crystal Palace level kind of players. Like, let him go there, develop his football if he wants to do that. But if you're trying to be a team moving forward, Morton isn't the type of player. Yeah, perfect. And said it right there. Pathetic. And he's been injured for about 6 months, and he's still better. But I prefer to have a guy who's been injured for like the last 6-7 months than a guy who's been on loan for 2 years and still isn't even up to the level of the other guy. Just get rid of him, man. Sell him, get some money. Let's move on, man. We got to be ruthless.
To be fair, G, played it, you don't know.
I think you're a bit harsh. On him. Right.
I'm harsh on a guy who's been banging out the championship for 2 seasons and hasn't developed that much.
Opportunity first before you judge him like that, bro. He hasn't even got an opportunity yet.
So he didn't play for Liverpool before he went out on loan. Okay,
yeah, he was still a young man and he's learning his trade. He's now learned his trade. You know what I mean? Pre-season, he might shock you, bro.
And think of all the ballers who played for Chelsea. Think about all the ballers who played for Chelsea and went out on loan. How many stayed? And this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying.
The thing about the Endo thing. The thing about the Endo thing is now we know we're going to get a good DM, like a really good DM.
We don't know.
In the first place.
We can hope. We don't know.
Whoa!
We will.
Endo's cooked this season. Ain't anyone saying different?
It's not going to be like that time. Like, oh yeah, we'll just get by. No, it won't. It won't.
So what would you say? What would you say that we need going into next season? Because we know we're at the end of the road, so to speak. You know, going into next season.
We need a left side of centre back. We need a left back. We need a DM, and we need a right winger, and potentially another forward.
I think
we really do.
I think we're going to buy 4 or 5 players.
And the right back, did you say, Cal?
For me, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you know where I want.
Whoa. We can't be on here all night. So let's get to the right back talking.
You want to move him in?
Look, I think we're going to buy 4 or 5 players, but I think they're going to be signings on paper that look underwhelming, but in reality, they're going to be all ballers. I think that's the, people are going to be like, Somerville coming in, what the hell's he? And then when he starts playing, everyone's going to be like,
guys, Somerville's data is identical to Jota's. Just saying
Somerville's a good little player, man.
Oh, we're getting someone that can dribble past players. That's great, man.
Identical to when we
I'll
signed you
I'll be
for
real.
Mane.
Some
So he's as injury prone as Jota
Somerville,
is what you're saying. Fairs. Let's
it
get
under,
another one of those guys into the team. Why
it
not?
underwhelmed. Somerville's
Somerville's
underwhelming for me. I can't lie.
Thank you, Cal, man. Cal's got some standards, man. Somerville. Oh my days, man.
I'm not.
Yeah, but
I'm,
this is the thing.
Yeah,
This
any
is
of
the
the
thing.
Dutch lads are underwhelming to me.
we should be
And
speaking
this
about
is what
Musiala
this is
and
what
Yeah, I hear you.
Musiala's right there. Musiala, guys.
Yeah.
this is what I'm saying. They're gonna be underwhelming signings
Hey,
on
does he match up
paper.
on the data though? Edwards is back, man. Does he match up on the data and stuff? I don't know.
Brother, I'm watching myself Musiala now. He better
I
match up on
know,
someone.
I know by the
Uh,
eye test. I'm talking about the data, bro, and all the other things that Liverpool Football Club needs. Does he match up? Don't know.
He's playing for Bayern Munich in the Champions League. Somerville's playing for Leeds in the Championship. The data can't be the same.
It's not my data, bro. It's not my data.
Cal,
Data cannot be the same.
Cal,
be
Jenny
fair-
Wijnaldum got relegated for Newcastle.
Say again, sir, bro.
Jenny Wijnaldum got relegated for
No,
Newcastle.
I hear you, but
You
we
know,
were building.
the data.
We were building then.
Yeah,
we were building then.
To be fair, Jude Bellingham played in the Championship.
Very true.
and went
but
to Dortmund, and now he's at Real Madrid. They didn't buy him. They didn't buy him at Birmingham. They put him at the Borussia Dortmund.
Yeah, but Liverpool,
playing Champions League.
if Liverpool bought him from Birmingham when they should have,
I don't think he'd be the player he is today, though. I don't think
Yeah.
he'd be as good as he is today, though.
and he never would have come in as a starter for us. He would have gone out
Exactly.
on loan for about 3 years, probably.
I think this is the thing with football today. Football today is all about name value over talent.
Snobbery.
I do think I think named players over talent.
Okay, do we think that Musiala is better than Somerville? Just so I understand where we're going with it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Musiala's a good
Yeah.
footballer, but he's
Okay,
out.
cool. So
right?
in this
Exactly, bro.
conversation, we're
Yeah,
talking
but
about
why
Musiala
can't
and
we have
Somerville.
both? Why can't
We're
we have
also-
both?
Oh, okay,
We're
Jamie.
talking
Now
about a
I'm
guy
with
that's
you.
going to
I'm
cost
with you.
90 million. Like, that's not going to
And
happen.
that's probably too cheap for him because he's worth
No
a
more
lot more than that.
150, and then we're good, bro.
Why can't we
And
have
it's
both?
homegrown.
Why can't we have Musiala and Somerville?
Because I don't think we
Okay.
need both.
We don't
If
need both.
Musiala comes in and him and well, let's say it's either Diaz or Gakpo for the left wing, Musiala or Gakpo for the left wing, I'd say Elise and Salah for the right wing, and then for me,
I can't lie, I'm putting Musiala in the number 10, you know. Like I feel like free roll number 10, like let him roam around.
Hey, I'm good with that too. But I mean, and Isak and Jota for the number 9s, I'm good.
Hey, Darwin still plays here, bro.
I know, but I want composure, not chaos.
So we're funding those purchases then.
Oh, is that what it is? You guys are selling players? I didn't hear that part. Sorry.
Yeah. I didn't want to say it, bro. Yeah, so I'm at with it now.
Oh, man.
Yeah, look, Musiala's a quality player. I agree with everyone. That's who we should be going for. But I think the data has to go what obviously is available to spend at the same time. And we're just not. Unfortunately, with our owners, we're not going to get Musiala. But
I think one of the issues we have as fans, I'm not talking about you guys here, but just like majority, is everybody wants now, guy. You know what I mean? They're not looking on our project. No one's got no patience and tolerance. Do you know what I mean? We want the product now. We want Jude Bellingham now. We want Harry Kane now. Do you know what I mean? We don't want to be waiting 2 or 3 seasons for this person to come into his final form, so to speak. Do you know what I mean? And that's the issue, because of where we are, where we want to go. We haven't got the patience. Do you know what I mean? And like basically, sort of like almost like Chelsea in that regard. Do you know what I mean? Which is why they let go. They haven't got the patience to wait. And I slowly, sorry to say, think that we're becoming that. Again, the fans, not so much us as a team, but you know, the players that we're looking for, they need to be ready to step in now, and that's what we want. That's what we need in order to get over that final hurdle in clutching the Champions League, Premier League, so to speak. But we'll see.
I agree with everyone. I think we do need the ready-made players, but I just feel like we're going to get players that are going to look underwhelming on paper, but given a chance, they could be absolutely fantastic on the pitch. And at the end of the day, that's all that matters, ain't it? I remember when we was in for Salah time ago, and there's a lot of Liverpool fans that said, "Why are we going for him? Why are we going for Mo Salah?" You know, because they just saw him as a failed Chelsea player, and now playing in Italy, and they didn't put any respect on his name and got him in, and he did bits. You know, Mane from Southampton. You know, they weren't well-renowned names at the time, but they came to Liverpool and became well-renowned names. No one thought of buying Robbo from Hull, and then a few years later, he's one of the best left backs in world football. You know, sometimes, you know, no, Virgil van Dijk weren't world class at Celtic and Southampton. Do you know what I mean? Then we us Liverpool fans say he's the greatest centre back ever to play in English football in the Premier League era. So sometimes the name value is great, but you know, I think there is snobbery in football at times. You know, Paul Pogba was a far better footballer than Jordan Henderson, but Jordan Henderson under Liverpool and Jurgen Klopp played to a higher standard than Paul Pogba did at Man United. But he's not a better footballer. So sometimes I think we live in football is different to what it was 20 years ago. I think we can all agree with that now. It's more structured, it's more systematic, and things like that. So I literally feel like the transfer window for a lot of people is going to be really depressing, because it's going to be players coming in that no one really fancies. But then everyone on Twitter will be writing in 8 months' time that, oh my God, I'm so glad we got these players because they're ballers. No, it's the same thing that's going on with Michael Edwards right now that pisses me off as well. And everyone lies if they didn't say this, because when he was our sporting director, we said we had the best sporting director in world football. That is what all Liverpool fans were saying at the time. Now Edwards is back. They're like, I don't know if I trust Edwards. I'm like, what the fuck has changed? Like, literally, what has changed? Because we were all saying we have got the best sporting director in world football.
And isn't Edwards a Liverpool fan as well?
Yeah, and rival fans were jealous of us having like, how are you getting money for these crap players?
Turn down Man United and Chelsea.
I was going to ask you. I was just about to ask about that. Do you think the reason why I mean, I don't know if it's turned down. Well, I think it's a bit of both in terms of turned down, and I don't think that those clubs are willing to offer him what he's being offered at Liverpool. Like, he's being offered basically the whole world at Liverpool. We've said to him, you're going to come in and be Mr. Everything. I don't feel like a Man United or a Chelsea were willing to, whether that's their fault, that's on them. I don't really care. But I don't think that they were willing to offer him that. So that's why I'm telling people, or I'm saying to people, is that Michael Edwards was fantastic when he was here. But Cal said it with Klopp. We haven't seen him without Klopp. In fact, we've seen him in another position when Klopp wasn't here, when Rodgers was here. That didn't go great. They got one player right out of the 17 that they signed in Suarez. But outside of that,
director then, though, was he?
Say that again.
He was the data analytics team. I swear he didn't work in. He wasn't our sworn director at the time.
So he was the guy who helped to pick the players, right?
He just brought some players.
No. I'm just trying to. I need to answer this question real quick.
What people don't understand about the Edwards job back then, he was part of the technical director, help building the data system. He built the data system. He was that person. And then later on,
to help find players, right?
No, he built the data system. He worked the one.
He wasn't the scout.
Okay. No. Just so that we
built the data system that everyone was jealous of, that everyone is now copying. That is basically what he did. And then he became. Then he got into the transfer committee and worked on the data. But you got to remember what you do is when you're working on the data, you're getting players that the managers at the time wanted. So when Rodgers was in charge, Rodgers wanted Barini. So he had to go out and get Barini for Rodgers. He wanted Lamberts of this world, Balotelli to this world.
Can you stop swearing, please?
Yeah, sorry. And that's what the job is. And then the sporting director's job is basically, if the manager wants a kind of player, the sporting director has to go and get that player in. It's up to him then to work out what the contract's going to be, how he's going to get the player to come here. I mean, we got players on ridiculously low wages. You know how much of a gift that is, how he managed to do that. And as we said earlier, we've not seen Edwards as a sporting director at any other team under any other manager. But we saw what Klopp was like with Edwards. It was a marriage made in heaven, in my opinion. You had a quality sporting director who picked players that would work under the Klopp system, and then Klopp was an elite coach to make these players even better. So it worked perfectly. That's how it should work, yeah. Then when he went away, in my opinion, the recruitment at our football club got worse when Edwards left. Now
In and
he's
out.
coming back.
In and out, by the way.
Yeah, now he's coming back. We don't know what Edwards. So I understand people might be a bit worried because we don't know what Edwards is like without Jurgen Klopp when he's in charge. So I understand it. I get it. So I get everyone's frustrations. I just think everyone's a bit of a hypocrite because every Liverpool fan I know said he was the best sporting director in the world at the time when he was in charge. So
I just wanted to quickly say something, ask something, Jamie. So we're saying that Edwards created the data that helps to find players. Am I just getting that part right? He was the one who helped to create that data alongside, of course, his team of people. But he was the one who created that data, which we use.
The system. The system.
He created this. Okay, so it's his system.
And he created... he actually created the system at Tottenham and we stole it.
I wasn't going to bait him out that way, but fair enough.
We did. We stole them from Tottenham.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it's a weird one. And then obviously you've got to get in players that you've got managers and people around you at the time. You're looking at different data. You're looking at different players. And then once Klopp came in, remember, he became sporting director 4 months after Jurgen Klopp joined.
Yeah.
And then you're working in connection with each other then, like hand in hand, and then you go have disagreements because like the disagreement with Timo Werner, he believed that the transfer committee believed that Jota would come in, would be actually cheaper and on less wages and would be a better fit for Liverpool Football Club. And then the club basically went with that. And that's what pissed Jurgen Klopp off because he actually wanted Timo Werner. Eventually, Klopp got Timo Werner because Darwin Nunez is Timo Werner. So he eventually got him. But,
scored more goals than him.
I mean,
isn't it really weird, that new thing that's come out as well about Nunez, like being Klopp's player, that's really weird that's come out as well. All this stuff really
data,
keeps coming out.
because Michael Edwards wanted Christopher and Nkunku, didn't he? And Klopp wanted. Yeah. So it's a weird. I don't know.
Well,
I'm all for it. I want to see what it looks like. I want to see.
It wasn't Edwards. It was the scouting team that wanted.
Oh, it was the scout because I'm sure this guy left time ago, bro.
Yeah. Everyone still talks like he was still there.
It was because Edwards' scouting team is still there today, ain't they? They're the same. They're the same people. But
so they didn't want Nunez. Oh, okay. Fair,
weird is the guy that was replacing Edwards signed some really good players, and we had a really good another really good run because we almost done well.
Julian Ward.
We went for the quad, and then he left. So we got the guy back. He was basically the guy who trained Julian Ward, and I thought Julian Ward was pretty good.
To Russell, man said he's always out.
It's interesting. I'll go with you and G. Go on and bring up. So you think you're just a little worried about Edwards being back because it worked better under Klopp. We don't know what it's like with a new manager. Is that what you're getting at, sort of thing?
Yeah. Sorry. Go on, Carl. Sorry.
No, go on. Yeah, go on, G. Yeah, you're good.
He just likes to talk, so you might as well.
I did ask Jamie. Thank you, Jamie. Thank you. It's so rude on this chat. No, I think. Listen, look. I think we know that Edwards is very good at his job. I don't think that really comes into question. But ultimately, we know what. And I keep going back to it. Cal literally said it that we don't know what he's like without Klopp. We've obviously seen Klopp without Edwards, and we know that was a bit of a shit show. But we don't really know what Edwards is going to be like. I mean, he can identify, as I said before, he can identify all these players like Caicedo's or the Enzos and all of these kind of cheap, very good players now. If you don't have a manager who can implement that, you're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place because you can identify all of these guys, but it will be kind of useless if you haven't got the manager. Hence why him and Klopp work so well, because Klopp is the manager to do that. Now, I'm not saying Slot won't be, by the way. I'm intrigued to see how he does, and I'm waiting. But ultimately, it is a case of we just need to see. We don't know what Slot's going to be like. So I can't put my eggs into someone who hasn't really got that experience, hasn't really shown that kind of level that we saw with Jurgen Klopp, unfortunately. Until he does that, then of course, then we'll be there. But right now, my eggs are just kind of in. Let's just wait and see. That's what I'm here for. Let's just wait and see how it goes, and then we take it from there. Simple.
Yeah, I agree with that statement. But to be honest, it's just I've seen people just slag Edwards off, saying he didn't really do anything. It was all Klopp, and I just find that
revisionism.
I find that a little bit mad because we weren't saying that when he was actually our sporting director. None of us was. But Cal, what did you guys say, man?
No, just to echo a G. I'm just waiting to see what happens, but I do trust Edwards. I do trust him.
Yeah, I get where everyone's saying like Edwards and Klopp. We all know they work so well together and getting talent, and then Klopp producing that talent. It was a beautiful marriage, obviously, till Klopp looks out he wanted a little bit more power. But it's going to be different because we don't know what Slot can do. We're in the unknown, ain't we? For all we know, Slot could be a genius, and this could be an excellent move that Liverpool have done. Or Slot can be like VS Boas.
Can I give you some bits on Slot, because I've got to go in a minute?
Yeah, go for it, man.
Can I give you some bits on Slot?
I'm going to give you a shout, Jay. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
All right, brothers, take care.
See you later, man. See you later, Carl. Yeah. So I've obviously looked into Slot because he's going to be our new manager. I obviously brought up the bit about the fact that he hasn't been in management that long, which is a little bit of concern to me. But what he has done, he's been pretty good, to be fair. He's only lost four games for Feyenoord since he's been in charge of them in the last 2 years. And, whether it's the Dutch league or not, it's still a good record to have. He's actually not been too bad in Europe, which is probably why he might have pipped Amorim. In 2022, he obviously lost in the Europa League Conference final 1-0 to Roma, and that was against Jose Mourinho. So anyone losing to Jose Mourinho in a final, you can't really slate him too much because Mourinho was a serial winner when he gets to finals. And then in 2023, he obviously got knocked out of the Champions League group, but they came third, which isn't too bad considering they had Lazio and Atletico Madrid above them, and they managed to get 6 points in that league group, and they were better than Celtic, who were fourth. But then he went into the knockouts and he got to the semi-final in the Europa League last year, and they won the first leg against Roma 1-0, but then they got beat 4-1 in the away leg. And the interesting thing is the referee was Anthony Taylor, who is the worst referee for any Liverpool games ever, by the way. And he sent one of their men off, and it looked like a dodgy decision. But by the by, that's kind of his Europa record. So a final and a semi-final in competitions in the 2 years that he's been in Europe, for me, isn't bad, if I'm honest. And also what I wanted to mention as well is I feel like he's going to need a really good striker up front, because who he plays with is he plays with a guy called Gimenez. He's worth 37 million. He's 23 years old, Mexican international. Now, the thing about him is the last season, 2022, he got 15 goals, but his conversion rate's only 12%. So he feels like another Nunez. And he missed 20 big chances that season. So he misses chances. And then 2023, which is this season, they've still got like a couple of games left, but he's on 21 goals. So he's kind of having his breakout season. And he's got a 20% goal conversion record. So he's getting better. And he's missed 26 big chances, which is one more than Nunez has missed this season. So he's kind of got another guy.
And the season hasn't ended yet, mate. So that could tally up.
Yeah, exactly. And he kind of relies on one person for his assists as well. Like this season, he's got a guy called Stengs. I think he played in Germany, if I'm correct. He's a Dutch international, and he's got like 11 assists. And then the last season, he had a guy called Adrizzi, who's got 7 assists. But like the assists kind of stay quite similar. So you've got guys who are like 11 and then drops down to like 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, like that. And when he was at AZ, 2019, he came second, joint top on 56 points with Ajax, and that was a Ten Hag team. But the league got shut early because of COVID. And then the following season, they came third, but they got 71 points, which is kind of what the league second place team always gets in Holland, is around 70 points. And he's got a 61% win ratio at the moment across all his clubs. So he's got the trajectory to be a good manager, but I still felt he needed another club. Because when we got Klopp had Mainz 6 years and Dortmund 6 years. So he had loads of experience. And obviously he had the European experience with Dortmund, but he didn't have it with Mainz. So he's kind of made that step. I feel like he didn't have too much experience before he went to Feyenoord, but he's got a bit of European experience now. So maybe we took a leap, a leap of faith on this guy, because a lot of other big clubs have been circling around him, like Barcelona, and obviously Bayern Munich has been mentioned as well. He was second on the list behind Pochettino at Chelsea, and he got offered a contract at Tottenham last year, and he said no. So I don't know. I mean, we could be having a conversation that we are with Ange Postecoglou at Tottenham now. He could just have gone there and done what he's done. We don't know. But I just wanted to mention that I'm quite apprehensive because I felt like he should have done a bit more time. But I kind of understand why Liverpool have actually gone for this guy. The data does tally up. All right, there you go.
Fair, man. That's fair, man. That's fair. It's great. You put it great, man. You put it great. I appreciate that. And you are right. Like there is a lot of uncertainty and all that. But as you said, he's not. He's only been in the game for a little bit. And this is a massive step up. And you're exactly right. But there's managers before that have come from absolutely nowhere with no experience and gone on to do amazing things. Look, Pep Guardiola. He came from nowhere. Arteta didn't really manage anyone before, and they're good coach. Obviously Pep's the greatest, and Arteta's a very good coach. So I understand what you're saying, K-Mac. You are right in what you're saying, but sometimes there's great coaches out there, and they just need to be snapped up and given the chance at a big club. And maybe Slot is that. Look, it's got to be. Who knows? But we're living in that uncertain time at the moment, and I think we just got to give Slot a chance. If people are like, right, Slot out by Christmas, that's just mad to me. Like
I've seen that in the chat. I've seen people already like Arne out, and I'm just like, man ain't even put on the jersey yet. Do you know what I mean? Like, but that's what I'm trying to say with the expectations.
He has to arrive in an helicopter first.
Exactly. The man's got aura. You know what I'm saying? Before we carry on, guys, we've got some guys here who's got channels. Obviously, we've got ends as well. Who I believe only a few people off 2K. So, any mods in the chat, if you can put links in the live chat now for everyone's channels, I'd really, really appreciate it. So people go and subscribe to their channels. And let's do a big push now to get this. I think 20 subs is all that ends needs.
20 subs, and
so
we're there.
And you're a mod on the channel. You can put your link in the channel.
Oh yeah,
it's got to be 20 people in here now. You can just go and sub. I've got a shoot, guys. All right, man.
Yeah, big up, okay, man.
Big up.
So go and subscribe to Enzy's channel. Let's get him to 2K tonight. That'd be great. There's 324 people watching right now. So 20 of you guys, that's all it needs. Get my man to 2K. G as well. Make sure you go and subscribe to G's channel as well. And if you can put G's channel in there as well, we appreciate it.
I don't even trust him to do it. I didn't think he was going to do that anyway.
I'd appreciate it. I really would appreciate it.
Jamie, I wanted to. Oh, sorry.
Hang on, I've got one super chat from Dean as well. Klopp's talent ID is bad. He wants to adopt players with good personalities first, and they disagreed on signings with Edwards. Edwards is goated, says Dean. I mean, I don't know if his ID is bad, because I think Klopp wanted people like Virgil and stuff like that. But Klopp also wanted Karius as a goalkeeper, so I think all managers. I'm going to say it now. I do think a lot of managers' talent IDs are not always the best, and that's why it is good to have other people around working on transfers. I do think the managers who concentrate more on the squad and coaching and tactics and formation and match play more than worrying about the transfers and contracts behind the scene. So I think once managers start doing that, it takes their focus away from their main priority. And I think that's what's happened with Jurgen the last 18 months, that a lot of his time now has gone into transfers, into contracts and things like that. And it takes a toll when they trust him to do everything in the football club, as FSG have said. That's why they would never sack him, because they trust him with everything. When you trust someone with that much power, then your attention gets taken away from a little bit. I don't know if anyone else agrees with that, but that's just how I feel sometimes. Just let the manager coach, man. What do you reckon, Sadiq?
No, I agree. I don't think Kanye said it. But for me, look, as a man, we turn around and say we don't like to ask for help much. Ego gets in the way, pride, and all that sort of stuff. And there's nothing wrong with asking for help. And in a profile job like what Klopp has, there is an ego there. There is an arrogance towards him. Do you know what I mean? And we like that. But and I do think Klopp is a man of his word. But I also feel that, and this is not me slagging him off. It's just me. This is just an observation I've watched over the last 9 years of his tenure. That he doesn't strike me as a one to sort of put his hand up and say, he's made a mistake. Do you know what I mean? In that, I do think that with Klopp, he is the guy who will go out guns blazing. Do you know what I mean? He'll die on his sword, that type of thing. Do you know what I mean? I don't think surrender is in his vocabulary, and I think that's one of the issues or one of the problems that we've had in that. Do you know what I mean? Like I said, the Carrier signing and we backed him to a degree. I might even say Endo. Do you know what I mean? Because he was the one selling us this dream. Do you know what I mean? Like, Endo's the shit. He's the best thing since sliced bread. Do you know what I mean? And not to say Endo hasn't done a good job, but we were looking all the names that we were linked to during last summer with DMs and stuff like that, and like Endo, like really? Do you know what I mean? That was just I also know he's done a job, but I do think
Klopp was when he came as well.
Oh yeah, for real, I remember. But yeah, I do think Klopp has a bit of an ego. He has an ego, not Jose Mourinho type ego, but there's an ego. He's getting paid all this type of money. Oh wow, getting paid all this type of money, and he's been a top manager for many years. Of course, he's going to have an ego. I just think that he won't sit there and ask for help on this sort of thing. This is why I believe that when Edwards was trying to help him with the transfers, why there was a disagreement over that, and then well, they're not going to fire Klopp. Klopp knew his job was safe.
Yeah.
By Edwards, you know what I mean? So maybe I got resentment because my surname's Edwards. I don't know, but yeah.
No, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. What do you reckon, Jay?
Tricky one, isn't it? Because it's like I guess different clubs work in different ways. Obviously there's not like this one way to kind of do things. Sir Alex Ferguson, he wanted a player. They'd have to go out and get that player. Pep Guardiola, he wants a player. They kind of more or less go out and get that player. Do you know what I mean? So when we're saying, and the thing is, they go out and get the player and they tell the guy to coach. Do you get? I'm just like they still like Pep. Usually is just a coach. He isn't in that Sir Alex mode where it's like what Klopp was trying to do, where you're almost like Mr. Everything. It's a different era. I don't think you can kind of. I don't think you can do that anyway now in today's football. So. Yeah, it's a tricky one, man. I think for Liverpool, I don't see how this is going to be as fruitful as people are making out. That you're saying this guy basically on one side just coached the team. He goes up to them and says, all right, I need a right winger who can, I don't know, score 15 goals a season or who's very good in the attacking threat. He might have certain players that he might like. He might put obviously these names towards Edwards and the crew, and they obviously go about and I guess try and find that player. Now, when he doesn't get the player that he probably really wants over time, that is going to annoy anybody Because the reality is, if you're not getting who you want, unless that player is going to do very well, i.e. Mo Salah, when he wanted Julian Brandt, if that player is not going to do that, then what a goal. Then it's going to take a toll on you eventually. Like that's just normal, because the top managers don't do that. The top managers work in systems where it's like, oh, I want this player, so go out and get this player. Yeah, do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, I want this guy, so go and get this guy, because I believe, obviously, the data team would have to look at that and then say, we don't feel that it represents value for money. Okay, cool. Then go out and find this person who you think represents value for money. That's where the compromise comes. I just think that we can't work in a system where it's like, he says, I need a right winger, as an example. He might have a name in mind. I don't know. Let's just say he says Elise as an example, and we don't get Elise. We get Somerville as an example. That one might have not been his first, second, or third choice. So now he's just left with a player that he didn't really want. And I almost think this now leaves it for everybody, where we know who to crash it on now. We know who to blame. If Liverpool don't do well next season, we know who to blame. I blame Edward. I blame Edward straight away, because I say, you bought the players, you're signing these guys, you're the one finding these players. Simple. That's it. I can't look at the manager, because from what everyone's telling me, you're telling me that the manager is just there to coach. That's it. Just here to coach football. He ain't got no real say on who comes in. He'll like I said, he'll have his targets. Probably won't get first, second, or third choice. So it'll be the cheapest guy there, and then we just move on. So I guess this is a win-win for the Edwards in the guys, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I suppose. Look, it takes some brass balls from Edwards, I suppose, in a way, to come back after 10 years and then take over running the football club and basically telling the world, look, I'm in charge. New manager's going to be the head coach. He's taking over tactical coaching and concentrating on training and the squad and formations and systems and match play, and everything behind the scenes is all me. So it takes some brass balls. And also it tells me that Edwards is very comfortable in knowing the fact that he's in charge, and if it goes wrong, I've told the world it's me, so come at me. So Edwards must have he has a lot of confidence in himself, and that's to be in mind in a way. Big up Dean says favouritism. He gives players too many chances and holds on for too long. We were winning with Jones at left back, Robbo Gomez at left back, and Robbo came straight back in. Yeah, I think a lot of people will agree Klopp is a bit like that. But guys, listen, we're going to leave it there. We've been going over 2 hours. It's been great. It's been great stuff. We could debate about all this all night and go on for hours and hours and hours. We'll have more shows like this going through the summer as well when the season ends. And there'll be loads more things like this. We'll get the boys on again as well. But guys, we do appreciate you coming on and watching us today. Thank you very much. Considering there's a Champions League going on and the numbers have been held as well, and you guys have been watching. So thank you very much. You guys are the ones who make this possible. So I appreciate everyone in the chat today. And Sadiq, G, I appreciate the love, guys, and you helping and coming on today as well. Obviously to Cal as well, to K-Mac as well. Guys, make sure you go and follow and subscribe to these great guys as well. Appreciate the love, guys. Thank you very much, guys. You're going to be headed now to Hassam's channel. You're going to be redirected to Hassam's channel. So when you go over to Hassam's channel, just put in raid in the live chat. He appreciate it. So much love, guys. Thank you very much. Bye-bye for now.